Hello, my name is McCade Pearson from Group 10, and today we're going to talk about the Battle of Thermopylae, a model surrounding it, and some analysis and conclusions from that model. This battle, fought in 480 BCE during the Greco-Persian Wars, saw a vastly outnumbered Greek force hold off the Persian army for 3 days. Our key question is, how did the choice of terrain and tactical formations impact the Greeks' ability to withstand the Persian advance? To investigate this, we use agent-based modeling, which allows us to simulate different battlefield scenarios, testing variables like unit positioning, geography, and strategic decision-making. By running these simulations, we aim to determine whether changes in tactics or force distribution could have prolonged the Greek defense or inflicted greater losses on the Persians. This approach provides a unique way to explore historical what-if scenarios, shedding light on how terrain and strategy shape the battle's outcome. The Battle of Thermopylae symbolized Greek resistance against Persian expansion. King Leonidas I led about 7,000 Greek soldiers, including 300 Spartans, aiming to block the Persian advance. Opposing them, King Xerxes I commanded between 100,000 and 300,000 troops, seeking to conquer Greece. Despite being vastly outnumbered, the Greeks used terrain and a tight formation to hold off the Persians for 3 days. Next, we'll explore how these factors influence the battle and how we can model them. The Greeks relied on the phalanx formation, using bronze armor, long spears, and shields for close combat. In contrast, the Persians had a more diverse force, including archers and light infantry. The battle took place at Thermopylae, a narrow coastal pass. The bottleneck terrain gave the smaller Greek forces a defensive advantage, limiting the Persians' ability to use their numbers effectively. On days 1 and 2, the Greeks successfully repelled Persian attacks. However, on day 3, a Greek traitor revealed a hidden path, allowing the Persians to outflank them. Leonidas and his remaining Spartans made a final stand, fighting to the death. Though the Persians won, Greek resistance at Thermopylae helped inspire later victories in the war. Our research focused on how terrain and tactical formations influenced the Greeks' ability to withstand the Persian army at Thermopylae. We measured this through four dependent variables: battle duration, tracked in minutes where one tick equals 1 minute, both casualties and retreats, with each net logo agent representing 4 soldiers, and archer kills, the number of casualties caused by archer agents. Our individual variables include battlefield positioning, fighting inside the pass versus an open terrain, and formation type, comparing the disciplined phalanx to a less structured formation. We hypothesized that effective terrain use and maintaining the phalanx significantly extended Greek resistance and increased Persian casualties compared to less effective strategies. Agent-based modeling lets us simulate individual soldiers following specific movement, attack, and defense strategies, capturing both individual and group behaviors. It replicates complex battlefield dynamics, allowing formations, terrain, and engagement rules to shape emergent outcomes. By testing different scenarios, like changes in unit positioning or terrain usage, we can analyze their impact on battle duration and casualties. This approach also incorporates key factors like geography, fatigue, and morale while providing quantifiable results on survival rates and strategic effectiveness. For troop size, our model scales each turtle to represent 4 soldiers. We have 75 Spartan turtles, 325 Greek turtles, and 30,000 Persian turtles split into waves of 2,500. Regarding training, Spartan and Greek turtles have a kill rate of 20%, while Persian turtles have a lower rate at 15%. Their attack ranges are also different. Spartan and Greek turtles have an attack range of 3, while Persian turtles have a range of 2.5. We designed the Greek turtle movement logic to keep them within the narrow pass with a pass width of 400 feet based on historical research. The Persian strategy includes archers firing volleys before engaging, and their movement logic aims to encircle the Greeks. Greek forces maintain the phalanx formation throughout the battle, which reduces Persian kill probability to 10% when attacking. Persian archers are set up in rows, advancing and firing volleys of arrows with up to 10 arrows per minute. Morale significantly impacts battle outcomes. Greek and Spartan morale is set higher than the Persians, with Spartan morale set at 1,000, preventing surrender behavior. Greek forces can replenish their phalanx formation by adding new turtles, which boosts morale by 1. For the Persians, every 5 ticks, replacement turtles are released to refill their ranks and maintain their 10,000 strong force. The terrain at Thermopylae played a key role in the Greek defense. The narrow coastal pass restricted Persian movement, which was crucial for the smaller Greek force. Historically, the width of the pass ranged from 40 to 1,000 feet. For our model, we've set the width at 50 patches, equaling 400 feet at 8 feet per patch. This scale ensures the phalanx formation fits within the pass, in line with historical research. The narrow terrain acts as a constraint, favoring the Greek forces and making it harder for the Persians to maneuver. In our model, the Greek and Spartan forces are represented by gray and red circular turtles, respectively, while the Persian infantry and archers are represented by black and yellow triangle turtles. These colors and shapes visually distinguish the different factions on the battlefield. Incorporating morale into our model was crucial for increasing realism and aligning with historical accounts. Based on research, we added morale values to each agent: Spartans at 1,000, Greeks at 50, and Persians at 40. Morale influences retreats, where agents with morale reaching zero retreat or die. For example, when an ally dies, nearby allies lose morale, and when they defeat an enemy, morale increases. This dynamic creates a more authentic battle flow, especially in the narrow pass where waves of Persians are repeatedly repelled by a resolute Greek force. The addition of morale helps to stimulate the battle's momentum and better reflects historical outcomes. With the width of the pass being 400 feet, we have each hoplite occupying 2 feet, including their shield. This allows for 200 soldiers per row. With 8 rows, the total number of soldiers in the phalanx formation is 1,600, or 400 turtles in the model. Each tick, Greek Spartan turtles either move or attack. If alive, they check if they're in a phalanx formation, move into formation if needed, and attack when in range. If an ally dies nearby, morale drops, then the tick advances. Each tick, Persian infantry turtles either move or attack. If alive, they check if they're in range to attack and do so. If not, they move toward Greek forces. If an ally dies nearby, morale drops, then the tick advances. Each tick, Persian archer turtles either move or attack. If alive, they check if they're in range to attack and have arrows. If out of range, they move toward Greek forces. If an ally dies nearby, morale drops. When arrows run out, they exit the battlefield, then the tick advances. Every 5 ticks, replacement Persian turtles are released to refill the 2,500 turtles in each wave. If fewer than 2,500 remain, it checks the tick counter. After 5 or more ticks, another wave is sent toward the Greeks. If fewer than 5 ticks, it waits. Terrain will assess how important the pass was for the Greeks by adjusting battlefield location. Fighting outside the pass could allow Persian waves to flank. Formation will simulate outcomes when the phalanx breaks or encirclements happen, showing how straying from formation might allow Persian forces to penetrate the Greek line. Here is the starting point of our simulation. Over here on the right side you have the Greeks, including the red Spartans. On the left, the yellow represents archers, and the black Persian just normal infantry. When we hit go, the archers will come out, take their shots at the Greek forces, and the infantry will follow behind. In the first part of this video, we will look at toggle formation. We see the archers come out with the Persians, take their shots, and the infantry follow behind. The Greek forces stay strong with their formation and let their reinforcements come in at a shorter distance. The sheer number of Persian forces eventually does overwhelm them, but it takes a while to wear them down. In the second simulation of this formation, we then turn on the fact that they are going to just straight up attack as quickly as they can. We see them roll off with everybody and no reinforcements behind, and after the archers take their shots, it's just an open war and an open battlefield, with lots of casualties quickly for both sides. The Persian forces overwhelm the Greeks almost instantly, creating devastating loss without any withstandings to the Persian forces. Our second independent variable is the battle location. We still have the archers coming out, taking their shots as the phalanx formation moves out into the open. This is the same simulation as the first part of the last slide. Once again, the Persian forces quickly dominate because they can wrap around and surround and get behind the Greek forces. Once we toggle on the battlefield location, we can now see the phalanx formation holding tight in a narrow passage. The archers still come out, but at this point, the Persian forces will have a harder time getting to the Greeks, and the withstandings will be longer. This shows the impact of staying in formation and controlling the battlefield, as it was a huge morale victory for the Greeks, leading to a success later in the war. They were able to withstand for 3.5 days, and were interested and curious to see the results and just how effective this was if they had not done this. They were able to choose the location of the battle knowing the Persians were coming, and chose Thermopylae specifically. We'll use a 2x2 factorial design to assess terrain, inside pass versus open battlefield, and formation, phalanx versus non-phalanx. ANOVA will help analyze the impact of these variables on battle duration, casualties, and other dependent variables, along with their interaction effects. The sample size will be 63 simulations per group, totaling 252 model runs. Our model closely matches historical data. In the phalanx formation with a narrow pass, we see around 1,000 Greek casualties, 5,000 Persian casualties, and the battle lasting approximately 3 days. This figure shows how strategic choices impacted the length of battles. With statistically significant differences across groups, engagements in open terrain without formation, shown in red, ended the quickest, averaging under a day. Phalanx formations in open fields, orange, extended that to nearly 2 days. In narrow passes, the difference was even more pronounced. Battles without formation, green, averaged under 2 days, while those using a phalanx, blue, lasted over 3.5 days. Each layer of strategy, formation, and terrain added roughly 1.5 days to the battle duration. This figure explores how Greek casualties were influenced by both terrain and formation, with statistically significant differences across conditions. In open terrain, without a formation, the number of Greek deaths was relatively low. Introducing a phalanx increased that number, but the most dramatic rise occurred in narrow passes. There, Greek forces suffered far greater losses, especially when a phalanx was used. On average, casualties climbed from just over 800 to nearly 1,300 depending on the strategy, but it's important to remember that survival wasn't the main objective. These formations were designed to hold off the enemy and inflict as much damage as possible, even when it meant higher losses. The goal was to inspire future resistance. This analysis shows how Greek retreat patterns were shaped by both terrain and formation, with statistically significant differences across strategies. Greeks were far more likely to retreat in open battlefields, especially when they lacked a formal formation. When the phalanx was used, retreats dropped noticeably, particularly in passes where the structured defense was most effective. On average, the number of retreating soldiers fell from over 1,000 without formation to just over 550 with a phalanx in a pass. This matters because more retreats meant fewer chances to weaken the Persian forces. The optimal strategy was about holding ground and inflicting damage, not falling back, and when that structure broke down, the Greeks failed to meet their objective. This data reveals just how much Greek strategic choices impacted Persian losses, with statistically significant differences between scenarios. The most devastating results for the Persians occurred when the Greeks used phalanx formations in narrow passes, producing over 5,400 casualties on average. In contrast, without a formation or in open terrain, Persian deaths dropped sharply, often by more than half. Even using a phalanx in open ground wasn't nearly as effective. The key insight here is that both formation and terrain had to align for maximum damage. If either element was missing, the Greeks' ability to weaken the Persian forces was drastically reduced. Just like with casualties, Greek strategy had massive impact on Persian retreats. When the phalanx was used in a narrow pass, over 12,000 Persians retreated, more than double the number killed. The combination of formation and terrain wasn't just effective, it was overwhelming. Their strategy to hold formation in the pass clearly worked. Archers were more effective in open fields without a formation, but their impact dropped sharply against phalanx formations. In narrow passes, the disadvantage of facing a phalanx remained consistent, with archers getting fewer than 10 kills. Ultimately, archers weren't key. The Greeks' tight formation in the pass kept them safe with minimal casualties. From all the findings, it's clear that the phalanx formation was the most dominant in narrow passes. There, it extended battle duration and caused significantly higher casualties for the Persians, both in terms of deaths and retreats. In open battlefields, while the phalanx still offered an advantage, it wasn't as overwhelming. This suggests that the Greeks could optimize their strategy by using the phalanx and in narrow passes, where its cohesive defense couldn't be easily outflanked. The scatter plots further showed that combining both the phalanx and the right terrain had a profound impact, and the box plot on the right reinforces this. Longer battles correlated with higher casualties and more retreats for the Persians. So, how did the choice of terrain and tactical formations of the Greek forces impact their ability to withstand the Persian army at the Battle of Thermopylae? In this simulation, every Greek soldier either died or retreated, reflecting the harsh realities of the battle. Fighting in a pass extended the battle duration, and using the phalanx formation increased it even further. While this resulted in more Greek casualties, it was devastating for the Persians. Phalanx formations and passes increased their casualties by 273%. The phalanx also reduced Greek retreats and caused a dramatic increase in Persian retreats, showcasing its tactical effectiveness. Looking ahead, there are several potential model enhancements. For instance, we could introduce Persian cavalry agents and implement the false retreat tactic used by the Greeks. Additionally, we could model the impact of different pass widths on the outcome of battles, which would add further strategic depth. Thanks again for your time today and to listening to our research on the Battle of Thermopylae from Team 10.